lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy. Today I'm reviewing the Doctor Who Big Finish audio adventures for Jenny, the Doctor's Daughter. This is series 1. So it's a box set of 4 one-hour Doctor Who adventures that are like audio adventures that follow Jenny, the character from the Doctor Who show, who is like a clone of the Doctor if his like genes were recombined in a slightly different way. But like the Doctor is her only parent. So she's a clone. She's also kind of a Time Lord, but also kind of not because she was born in a different planet. It does follow one of the David Tennant episodes. Pretty sure it's series 4. I'm pretty sure it's Donna was the companion. Called The Doctor's Daughter. And so this is the continuation of Jenny's story. Jenny is played by Georgia Tennant. This also has Sean Biggerstaff as Noah, who plays kind of her companion, and Siân Phillips, who is called 5000, who is like the main villain of this series. I think it's Barnaby Edwards is the one who directed these. I'm going to go through each of the 4 one-hour episodes. The first episode is called Stolen Goods. It is written by Matt Fitton. So this one sees Jenny basically getting into a car crash in space. A spacecraft crash. She enters into this region and ends up hitting this other spaceship, and the guy is like so mad, so angry, and like, you need to pay for this, and my ship is damaged. And so he manages to get them to this mechanic and has the damage assessed on both vehicles and all the damage to his vehicle, except I don't think it's really a spoiler that this is all a scam. The guy is a con man who has been doing this to other people, and Jenny starts to like see the clues and figure it out. We also see Jenny starting to assert her personality. So like when she first shows up, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This is terrible. Let me help. This is all my fault." And the guy's like, "Yes, it was all your fault. You're gonna pay for this." And as the mechanics start piling up all the things, and then Jenny just has these moments of like, "Well, I actually know a thing about this, and the ship's not that badly damaged. His ship's not that badly damaged. You can't just scrap my entire vehicle." So I love like Jenny having this moment of like, I know what I'm doing. They also get a bit aggressive with her, and she ends up running from them, which is how she ends up running into Noah and acquiring a whole new spacecraft. And then we also have Colt 5000 showing up for the first time, who is like this cyborg. She's a cyborg or a robot. Definitely part mechanical. But she's basically an assassin, a mercenary for hire, and she is tracking down Jenny because she's picking up like Time Lord energy, and she wants to basically capture Jenny and sell her. And so Jenny's like, "No, thank you. I like living," and decides to run off. And that's where that first hour episode ends, essentially. Which brings us to episode 2, Prisoner of the Ood, which is written by John Dorney. And this one, Jenny's like kind of rebuilt herself a what do you call it? With a vortex manipulator. The hand, the wristwatch type time travel device. Sorry if you don't watch Doctor Who, guys. Jenny ends up time traveling also, as well as space traveling. And she ends up back on Earth in the small village. I think it's in England, but it's a British village. And she doesn't have a memory when she lands. She and Noah have gotten separated, except Jenny doesn't remember Noah. So there's this whole thing whereas we in audience know that she needs to find Noah. And we know more about her as she's trying to regain her memory. There's a bit of a mystery. The entire village is covered in some kind of alien dome, which is stopping people from getting in or out. So like the police can't come help, and the villagers can't get out. And so there's like this is weird kind of thing, gathering the neighborhood watch and they have like a neighborhood meeting to like gather everybody to problem solve what they're going to do. They're ending up on the news. So it's kind of a weird mix of like a British village mystery combined with, aliens. Because if you can't tell by the title, Prisoner of the Ood show up. They are the species with like the spaghetti like tentacles, and they speak telepathically, but through like this ball that creates audio for them. And so the Ood were actually manning this prison, and they are looking for an escaped convict who might be in this village. That's where they think it's happening. But also, Jenny's an alien, so it gets a bit weird. So basically, there's an escaped prisoner happening throughout all of this too. And Jenny needs to figure out where the prisoner is, if the prisoner, where the prisoner is hiding, and why she can't remember Noah or herself or her past. So I love this one because Jenny really got to like flex her mystery and her like her brain in this one. But also there's some cool like running around things that are happening. Yeah. There's enough action in this to still make it exciting, and I loved it. Issue 3 is called Neon Rain. It is written by Christian Brassington, and this one is set on a different planet, where we have this dragon lord who is like the ruler and also the god of this village, this whole planet. And it's very industrialized, but also it relies on slave labor essentially. The people in this world are like they're given money, but also it's all like government sanctioned. It felt like it was all government sanctioned housing and stuff. I don't remember if that's actually what it was, but that's what my brain was picking up. And like they're given stipends, but then all that money ends up going back into a drug problem. So in this world, all the women work and all the women do the jobs, and all the guys are essentially drug addicts who live around all day and don't do anything. So that was an interesting like mix of like, let's flip the gender dynamics and have the women take charge, but also there's still this other entity, the Dragon Lord, who's actually in charge. This one got really interesting. It got into a lot of political discussion. Jenny basically shows up and starts a revolution. That's what happened. She and Noah start investigating and try to bring down the government because that's the best way to get away. Also, we have Cult 5000 showing up and just asking for the Time Lord, being very menacing in this one. We find out a bit more about Noah, but like not all of the questions are answered either. Like Noah shows up in the first one and he's just like this ambiguous thing. He doesn't remember who he is. He doesn't remember what species he is. He shows up completely naked, and it's just like, I don't know, come with me then. So he does. Jenny just takes him on. I'm like, okay, well, I need a friend. You're running. I'm running. Let's run together. So in episode 3, we find out way more about Noah's past, which was necessary and I loved, but also didn't answer all the questions, which brings us to 4, which is called Zero Space. It is written by Adrian Poynton. This one is set on like a space station, but it's in this weird area of space where physics doesn't quite operate. It is zero space. It is by itself. It is separate from everything else, and it is populated by these scientists who are running experiments. Except it was originally 2 scientists who have just cloned themselves over and over. So everyone on this space station is either Drea or Cal based on which scientist they were cloned after, and then a number to designate which clone they are. So it's a bit weird. But it does also get into exploring clones and exploring what that means to Jenny as she is essentially a clone. So it's a bit menacing too. It's when we don't really know who to trust. And then Cult 5000 shows up. We have kind of like the big showdown where she's really going after them. There's definitely a sense of urgency and a sense of danger in this last one. And also I just love space stations. So this is also a really fun episode to listen to. So I enjoyed basically all of this. If I were rating this as like a book, it would probably be 4 out of 5 stars. I was listening to these while when I would normally listen to audiobooks. So like my brain is like, this is an audiobook that just happens to have multiple players. Sometimes you have full cast audios, and that's kind of what this felt like to me. But also it felt a bit like an episode of Doctor Who. Like I can believe that this was actual stuff that's happening on the screen. It's a weird mix to get into these Big Finish audios. The Stolen Good one wasn't as good. There were parts of Prisoner of the Ood that kind of dragged on. Neon Rain got more exciting, but also sometimes felt like we were repeating the same stuff over again. And then Zero Space also had some lagging moments where we're just like, we have to do info dumps. Like, we have to explain the clones and stuff. So overall, a 4 out of 5 stars. It was fun and exciting, but also there were a few moments where I was starting to zone out, honestly. So I am definitely going to continue listening to more Big Finish productions. If you like Doctor Who, we need more Doctor Who, especially as we're like a Doctor Who light series year. Let me know which other Big Finish audio adventures I should be reviewing. Are there any books or comics that I should review? Specifically Doctor Who. Obviously, I love this show. I've done tons and tons of reviews for the books and comics. Although this is the first one I've done one of the audio adventures. So, yeah, probably be more as I'm listening to more things rather than physically reading stuff. It is what it is. Yeah. So, peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.